In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Today, as we heard the Gospel from Matthew chapter 18 and verses 1 to 9, we'll find this dialogue between Jesus and his disciples repeated 3 times in the 3 synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And what I would like to share with you this morning is only just one word: the greatest. And the greatest when. We are not going to search how to be the greatest or who is the greatest, but when this event happened, and to see in our life when we can ask this question rightly or wrongly. The word greatest itself mentioned in the New Testament 48 times in 42 verses. And 8 out of them is just arguments between the disciples who is the greatest, and then the Lord was rebuking or explaining to them what is the meaning of the greatest. If you look to the 3 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, you will find it nearly parallel as such as you see it in the screen. So what we read today was Matthew chapter 18, the first 9 verses. Just the chapter before, it tells us the story. Chapter 17, from verse 1 to 13, starts with the event of the Transfiguration. From verse 14 to 21, the disciples could not cast out a demon, and then this man, whose son was demon-possessed, came to the Lord, and he told him, "Your disciples were not able to cast this demon." And the Lord told them that this kind cannot come except by prayer and fasting. Verse 22 to 27, the Lord spoke about his death, and only in Matthew there's one more event that he asked Peter to pay the tax for himself and for the Lord himself. Then first verse in chapter 18, who is the greatest? The dispute between the disciples. In Mark, as you see in the screen, the same thing, Transfiguration. The disciples couldn't cast out the demon, and then the Lord spoke about his death on the cross. Luke, the same thing. So if we see the consequence of the events, first, it's a great event, the Transfiguration. Only 3 disciples has shown this event, and then a failure of the disciples. They couldn't cast out a demon, and he was telling them, or the man whose son was demon possessed was accusing them, "Why your disciples?" And even the disciples themselves asked the Lord why we could not cast out this demon. So one of the events, or one of the times that we think who is the greatest, after a great failure, after we fail to achieve something. What added more on this event, that the Lord was talking about his death. So we need a successor. We need someone to lead after Jesus. So if we are in this position this morning, and we are thinking who is the greatest, because of a failure, a big failure in my life, or I was following him. If you go back to Luke chapter 9 and also Matthew chapter 9, he sent the 12 and the 70 disciples to do one thing: to cast out demons and to make healings and miracles. Now it seems for them it's a failure. We are not able to make it anymore. If you are in this position this morning and you feel you failed something, you failed to achieve something was in your mind, and you think that you should find a way to be greater than anyone or whoever is, maybe at home, tension between our husband and wife, who is the greatest, or between brothers and sisters, or at work, or even in the church, who is the greatest, who is leading more.
Son, and of the Holy Spirit will become an indwelling place of the Holy Trinity. In a way or another, the dwelling of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit will become an indwelling place. The other title, this dispute came to mind or another after a microcosmos, microheaven. So after a great failure, you have this road. The other title, and this dispute came to mind, you have this was after a great failure. And this was after a great failure, you have this great suffering. The Lord and after the great failure, you have given this life, body and blood. This was the last of the great Sabbath. He told them, the Lord instituted the Eucharist and gave his life on this body and blood to his disciples. He told them, and again, start verse 24. Now just immediately after the communion, immediately after being partakers and against the divine life of the Lord. Now there was also immediately among them, as to each of them immediately after being partakers of this divine life of Christ. Now there was also a dispute among them, as to each of them should be considered the greatest. As to each of them should be considered the greatest, and he said to them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them. And those which of them should be considered the greatest, and he said to them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them. Who is going to be the successor? Those exercise authority over them are called the Gentiles. And now the word is, are you going to, who is going to be the successor? Who is going to be? Are you going to be a Gentile? Are you going to choose to be a Gentile? And he said to them, but not as be a Gentile among you, a living member of the body of Christ. You are different in everything. And he said to them, you will choose, but not as to be like among you. We choose to compare ourselves with each other. And you are different in everything and better than him. Unfortunately, we choose sometimes. But not so among you, to choose to compare ourselves with each other. Should be totally and I feel that I am better than anyone. Who is greatest among you, but not so among you. And he who governs, you are should be to the opposite. Who is greatest among who is greater? Him he as who sits at the table, who governs as he who serves. Is it not he who is greater? Yet he who sits at the table as the one he who serves. Is it not to be better than he who sits at the table? Yet I am among you as the one who serves. He's telling us, yet I am among you as the one or master. And he urged us to choose to be like this, the whole message, not like the kings. Yet I am among you as the one who serves. And he encouraged us to choose to be what happened among the disciples. Kings, what happened? We are thinking this way after such a great event. What happened among the disciples? What happened that we are thinking this way and was because it is only for our conceived to the Christ of this and but it is to teach us. Even though they were saints, yet was before it is only for our this, but it is to teach us. Even though they were saints, yet this is the witness of sickness for our life. Is a pretty down for it. The Lord dealt with the disease as a smart surgeon, but don't stick with healing with the like just pretty down for it. The Lord dealt with the disease as a smart surgeon, and he on pride, but then I will not going to go home with it. And it's like this one. To come with your own healing as a seed, come with your own pride, but then I'm not going to go down with it. I would like to be assured in each belief. We are in our own business with the life of the Lord. We will never be able to enjoy the love of the Father. Each little bit, we are never be enjoying the life, the grace of the Son. Enjoy the never be able to enjoy the love of the Father. We'll never be enjoying the grace of the Son. Enjoy the fullness of the power of the Lord. Peter was saying, He gave the Holy Spirit to those who even in Acts 5 verses, the Holy Spirit. Peter was saying, he gave the Holy Spirit to those who obey him. And enjoy the fellowship of the Holy Spirit, asking everyone to lift up as a heart, each mind, those running through the mystery